Who said men can't multitask? Nonsense. I'm walking the dog. There's Baggins there. He's got muddy paws, funny enough. Thanks for all your nice comments yesterday about the dogs, by the way. Very, very nice here. I don't really know what happened last night, truth be known. Obviously, we won. I know we won. But I'm not sure. No, I know what happened, but I'm not sure why it happened. Maybe it's just like a culmination of lots of different things. West Ham do not start games like that. So even if it just factor out the Lucas Paqueta thing, him returning, that's the easy thing, where West Ham are a one-man team, so on and so forth. But even without that, there have been times where Lucas Paqueta's in the team, we don't start the game like that. So I almost think that's separate. So why do we start with such urgency? I think there's quite possibly, because David Moyes, maybe he got to a point where he finally knows that either time is up or he's under so much pressure. I didn't think he could lose last night. I did not think he had that in the locker. I really didn't. I thought a heavy loss last night against the Brentford team, I think he would have found it really, really hard. It would have been a tough week for him. Would have been a lot of pressure on him. So maybe that was it. Maybe he just instructed them, go on, start early. We don't do that at home enough. We really, really don't. So I think there was probably a little bit of that in there as well. Which leaves you begs the question, why don't we see more of it? Why doesn't he do it more often? It was very much a case of sort of attack being the best form of defence on there. Because we just tend to invite so much pressure upon ourselves. Shall we recreate the Emerson goal? I can't do it. I'm not left-footed, and I don't have a ball. Sorry, can't say that word. Can't say the B word in front of the dog. Gets very excited. And I just attack's the best form of defence. I absolutely believe that. And they're under so much cosh, these defenders, all the time now for West Ham, that I do think that just giving them a little bit of respite. There was a point in the second half where Paqueta had no chance of retaining the ball, and all he did was he just won a little foul. He got his body in between the play, he drew the foul, he knew he was going to be able to play the referee, he absolutely did, and nothing really happened. We got a free kick in a non-dangerous area, but what it allowed was it just allowed the defence, I think by the time the free kick's been put down, people argue with the referee and they do all that stuff, it probably allowed the defence, I don't know, about 60 seconds rest. They move up the pitch and it's sort of reset. It's just not this constant pressure. Obviously, when we're attacking at the start, there's less pressure on the defence. After the game, I looked at the stats after the game, and they had more possession, Brentford, but that wasn't the case in the first half. We had most of the possession in the first half. I just don't know why David Moyes doesn't play like that all the time. I really don't. And I'll tell you what's weird. I spoke about this in our Patreon video earlier on when we were doing our player ratings. So I was thinking about it. So during Moyes' first stint, if you remember, he had João Mario, remember João Mario, of course you do, and he had Lanzini as well in the team. So he sort of understood the benefit of having attacking players, people that were competent, people that could put their foot on the ball. You look back at his Everton team, there were loads of them actually. There was sort of Pinar in there. Well, he brought Mikel Arteta, didn't he? He brought him over. He very much would control the game and put his foot on the ball. The first sign, I think it was the first signing. People make a lot about his signing of Fellaini at Man United. I think his first signing might have been Juan Mata from Chelsea, about 30 million. I mean, this is a player that's comfortable on the ball, that will sit there, that will spray passes. So David Moyes understands the benefit of a technical player and what he can bring to the team. All right, he might not pack his team full of them. He's not Pep Guardiola, I'm not saying that for a second. But he understands the value of them. So he would have known that Lucas Paqueta coming back last night, sorry, the dog's having a right, I'll sniff up at something, not me, he would have understood Lucas Paqueta coming back is going to make a difference. So he must know why Lucas Paqueta makes a difference, yet he didn't choose to get an understudy in January, which I find this really, really strange. Because you hear that David Moyes was having players thrown at him in January, saying, oh, you sign this one, sign this one, sign this one. There's constant suggestions, and these suggestions were just getting rejected all the time. So I don't know why he didn't just turn around to Stuyton or Sullivan or whoever and say, look, I'll tell you what, get me a reserve attacking midfielder. Somebody that's I can use off the bench, but is not going to be totally miffed. When Lucas Paqueta comes back, he's going to go to the bench. I just don't know why he didn't do that, because it's so clear that he was making us tick, and everything we did, not everything we did well went through him, it didn't, but I felt it just allowed the rest of the players to have a spring in their step. It sort of gave them a little bit of confidence, really, to express themselves. Everyone, look, I don't want to say Emerson's twice the player when Paqueta's there, because that sounds like a little bit of an insult, really. I'm not saying he's twice the player, but he's significantly better. His pecker's up. He's willing to try things. He'll play the 1-2s. There's pass and move. You just see it. Sort of Alvarez comes in and gets involved, doesn't he? There's just a lot of good stuff going on when Paqueta's on there as well. Yes, there's more belief. There's more belief for Jared Bowen. Bowen believes he's going to get a chance. I think it's hard. That's why I think there's more to it than just Paqueta, though. He was so far over the other side of the pitch, Kudus, that it's hard to tactically attribute much of Kudus's upturn in performance in Paqueta, because he was over the other side of the pitch, wasn't he? But maybe, just maybe, it was there was a bit of buoyancy around the team because the playmaker was back. But I do think there's an element that David Moyes sent him out there to attack. I think there was a certain element, as I said earlier, of him sort of fearing for his job and thinking, I've got to do something. I've got to do something else here. Which sort of, as I say, it gives me two questions, really. I think number one is, why don't we do it more often? Moyes has got all these stats. He's got all this data. Maybe Kevin Nolan could give him some of the data if he stopped sort of squaring up to Neil Maupay. Don't blame Kevin Nolan for that, by the way. He surely would know that our defence was under a lot less pressure because we were attacking. And this is what I don't understand about him. Doesn't he enjoy it? Doesn't David Moyes enjoy the acclaim? Doesn't he enjoy going into the press conferences and being that guy that's just managed a team that scored 4 goals? I'm not sure. I think that's just me applying my logic to David Moyes, because I would think so. I would like to be that guy who's... I think it's a little bit hard for him to change his reputation for David Moyes to be known as an attacking manager. I think that's a little bit more difficult. But isn't it better for him to go in there and actually puff his chest out and say, look, I can play attacking football? I don't think it's rocket science. He's basically played another attacking player in there. He had an attacking player off the bench and he instructed them to go forward. And you felt that like the team were liberated, absolutely liberated by it. And he must have felt the upturn in confidence in the players. He must have felt it in terms of the fans. He must have felt it walking into that press conference afterwards. I got to be honest with you here, I haven't seen or listened to the press conference. By the time I did the video last night, it was pretty late. We've done our player ratings on Patreon this morning, so I've not really seen much about it at all. I have a feeling if I go and listen to it, it may well be that it annoys me quite a lot, the press conference, because it does have a tendency to do that. But in many respects, he's had a tough week, David Moyes, and I don't blame him for puffing his chest out. And if he's going to give a little bit back, sort of fair enough. He's had a lot go his way, hasn't he? I've not changed my mind on him. I think the biggest thing that I worry about with Moisey is if one player is that important. I do think he was a big part of it. I don't think he's everything yesterday. I don't think it was all Lucas Paqueta. But if one player is that important to get the team playing, then we're in trouble, because I don't think Paqueta will be here next season, not unless that FA charge that goes on and on and on. If David Moyes has to be on the cusp of losing his job to get a performance out of his players, for them to attack, that's not good, because it basically means he's going to have the risk of the sack to get the best out of him. To make David Moyes into a manager that gets the best out of players, it's not just about attacking football. That was actually winning football last night. And that's it. That's the threat. To get something out of your team, you're going to have to be at the risk of losing your job. I mean, come on. No, I mean, that's not good. It means next season, no Paqueta. I don't know. I think it's no Paqueta, no party, is the truth of the matter on that one. But anyway, there we go. I've had a few people attribute this bagging series. We're gonna go for a good old run. It's a bloody boggy. It's a boggy old park. This field is. There's a few fields here in the park. A few people did say, because I went swimming yesterday, so a few people did say I need to go swimming again. I will take that. It had nothing to do with Paqueta, did it? It had nothing to do with setting the team up to play attacking football. It was me going swimming. I think that's what's done it. So I've been told I've got to go swimming on Saturday. I think I have to book it in. You can't just rock up, you've got to book this stuff. So I will try and book in for Saturday. It's actually my daughter's birthday as well, so I'm not sure. She's actually at her mum's for the first half of the day. So I'll see if I can sneak a little swim in the morning. we are in trouble. If that happens, and actually us winning has nothing to do with David Moyes, Lucas Paqueta, and has everything to do with me wearing me Speedos, then we've got there's a lot of pressure on me, quite frankly. Anyway, thanks ever so much for all your comments yesterday. There was a few comments saying, oh, we've not seen you doing a walking the dog video for a while. So here I am, walking the dog, and right, I'm going to go and get this uploaded, take him for a run first, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.